Another big win for President Trump is that Paramount has agreed to pay him $16 million, Jill. This is in the lawsuit over the 60 Minutes piece. We all remember, of course, when Kamala Harris went on 60 Minutes during the campaign last year, and they spliced up her whole segment, this hour-long interview. They spliced it all up, and they replaced her really, really bad answers with just a bad answer that wasn't even to do with the question she had been asked. It was wild. And, President Trump sued Paramount, who owns CBS, I guess. And he said, this isn't right. This was election interference. This was obviously an attempt to sway an election for one candidate. You can't have that. So President Trump won this, and he has said that that he wants to donate all this money to charitable causes. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he donates the money to. But it's about time that people were held accountable for this kind of garbage, because I don't think anyone other than President Trump would have filed this lawsuit and pursued it in this way. But this was 100% appropriate, Jill.
Yeah, it's a return to truth, because the fact of the matter is that instance, among countless others, that the media has imposed, has been straight up deceitful. It's deceitful. It's not honest. It's not transparent. And I hope this is a return to truth. I hope that this sets a precedent for journalists to return to, behaving as journalists are supposed to behave. I long time ago, many years ago, I worked in a newsroom, and you are supposed to live by the tenets of truth. And I'm just really happy to hear that hopefully this is a step forward in that direction.
Libby, I just wonder, the people who were in that edit bay, who were editing together this 60 Minutes piece, did they not think that there would be any repercussions for doing this? Did they think that people were really going to let them get away with this? I don't really remember, maybe you guys do, how we got that initial footage where you saw the full long answer that she gave, the question, and then the answer back to back. And then when you watched the interview, you realized it was a different answer that they plugged in there. I don't remember how we got that, but somebody put it out there. But I guess my question is, are people in the legacy media just so used to manipulating the truth and reality that people at CBS just really saw no problem with doing something like this?
Yeah, and they would not have gotten caught if they had been smarter, Laura, because the way that initial answer came out was that CBS released a preview of the interview.
Is
with
that
Kamala
how it
Harris.
happened? Wow.
They released the interview that morning. It was a Sunday morning, because 60 Minutes comes out on a Sunday. They released the preview. It had this really bad answer on, what was it, like Israel, Gaza? It was that whole thing. And then
Yes.
when we finally saw the interview, that question, that the answer wasn't in there. And she had some more, succinct, reasonable sounding answer that was still dumb, but it was much more reasonable sounding. So that's what happened. We never would have known. And so I think, in fact, there are probably multiple instances where we have no idea that this is what goes on. We don't even know that this is what they do, that these media outlets and news magazines and what have you give favorable treatment to the candidates that they are interested in boosting up. I think CBS was entirely wrong here. I think that they were right to settle, and probably they settled because they didn't want there to be any discovery about what else they've been covering up.
Touche. You're probably right on that. God, you're right. They released an ad themselves. They teased this whole thing, and they got themselves caught. Yes. That's sort of incredible. It's really poetic justice in so many ways. That's lovely.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.